Sonic.
I think it's about 7 inches. Too big?
I am a grower, not a shower.
Do you wake up every day and say, thank God I'm not born blind?
Oh.
Like,
Now recording.
welcome to Now Recording. I'm here with a bunch of nobodies who are apparently named Mike the Bike, Beavers, Core Master, and Toxic Piplup. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm Mike the Bike, guys. Cool.
I like that. Put
Oh,
no
yeah.
respect on Matt's name. No respect for Matt. Fuck Matt.
Yeah.
He goes on everyone's stream and no one still knows who he is. I love it.
Dude,
Yeah,
keep
you
it
little
that
fucking
way.
clout chaser.
Fucking keep it that
Yeah,
way.
you little piece of shit.
Yeah. Hey, Bowblax. Did you
Yeah.
say the N-word at VidCon?
Yeah, did you?
Yeah,
Oh, for
Wait,
real?
actually?
probably. I don't know. I probably
Wait.
did.
During the
But
karaoke
me and everybody else, like.
Well, like, no, I was saying, like, singing the karaoke song when you were singing
Oh
it.
yeah. I said
You went,
it.
oh, you went full.
The employees for Nano Zebra were there, and they liked me more after I said it. So
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
Can't take me down. You got to take
Complimented
all
it.
of us down.
and I've been
All
getting
of
more
us said it.
I've been getting more sponsors ever since. So.
True.
Nice.
That's
Bro.
nice, yeah.
All right.
Appealing
dude.
to
Got
the
that
base
Hello
crowd.
Fresh.
Is there a full video of it?
There's a video of most of it. I don't know where it's saved though,
Oh, that sucks.
but I think I have it.
Did you go full, like, ER?
I hope so.
Yes. I mean, I can't butcher the lyrics.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
What-
he
what-
doesn't want to mess up his own song.
Like, what was the reaction when people watching? Were they like, or is it just like a small group of people?
Oh, they laughed. It erupted. And then people were also getting worried because apparently the people at karaoke monitor the room. So,
Oh, no.
but it ended up being fine. So, but they
Oh,
got
really?
worried. I didn't get to finish the full song, but they did let
Oh.
me say at least like 3 N-words. The thing about the song is the N-word doesn't come in until almost the very end.
Yeah, it
So-
sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
Oh man. So when we were starting in the commentary community, like who are you a fan of? Like who are the guys you like the most?
You mean like becoming a fan of commentary and watching it, or
Yeah.
once I became a commentary YouTuber?
When you were starting to watch it?
My favorite commentary YouTubers, probably Leafy and Keemstar.
Yeah. And
Can't
then
go wrong
so,
with
Did it change? Did it change after you?
H3
started
was
wanting to
one of
make
my
it?
favorites too.
But like
Um,
after you started trying to make it, did it change? Did you like view those people differently?
I mean, all 3 of those people have changed their
that is true.
content in some ways over the years. You know, Leafy's banned. H3 has completely changed, and Keemstar hasn't changed as much as the other 2, but he's still a lot less edgy than he was before. Like, I was personally a fan of Keemstar's live streams on Stream.me more than Drama Alert, and he stopped doing those a while ago. So, you know, I don't personally watch any of those guys' content now, except, you know, Leafy. There is no content to watch, so.
true.
But,
How surreal was it when like you started with Augie and all that stuff, and Keemstar starts coming on and like shitting on you, going back and forth with you, and you were a fan of him? Like, how weird was that for you?
well, I actually first had Keemstar interact with me before I met Augie.
Right.
And I made a video criticizing his yet to be made or yet to be done decision to shout out Aiden. It was before he shouted him out, and I warned him like, yo, he's 12, like he shouldn't have this much attention on him. Even if it is positive, it's going to you know, you should grow up your channel naturally. As someone who grew my channel from being a teenager, if I like got a shout out from Keemstar when I was starting out at 14, it would have been like a lot of pressure. So I made that video, and then Keemstar DM'd me. He's like, you have some good points, but I think you're retarded. And then he ended up shouting out Aiden. You know, the results of that, whether Keemstar was right or I was right, can be up to you to decide, or anyone listening to decide. But yeah, that was my first interaction with Keemstar. It was kind of stressful. I ended up like responding with like big paragraphs because obviously like I thought it would be like one of the only chances I could to talk with Keemstar, but he's dyslexic and doesn't care about long paragraphs, so he's like too long not reading and then I don't think we interacted until the Pokemon stuff a couple months later. But yeah, I think the first time I had Keemstar interact with me, though, outside of that DM was this is really interesting. So I made a retro. So Keemstar in 2018, he did an interview with Leafy, one of Leafy's first appearances back since he left, and I decided to do like a review of that interview and like talk about it and talk about how basically everybody who defended Leafy in the Keemstar versus Leafy feud was stupid and how Keemstar was in the right. But because I think I set it up in a way that like made it sound like I was going to be on Leafy's side versus Keemstar's in the first like 5 minutes, or not first 5 minutes, but like the first minute or 30 seconds, I think, of the video. It was like a very short amount of time. Keemstar thought I was going against him, so he commented at like 1 a.m. like, "You're stupid. This is not how it went down." Blah blah blah. But then immediately deleted it. But it was still cached in my YouTube studio, and it was like on New Year's, I think, New Year's Eve, and I was high and drunk out of my mind. I fucking saw that comment, and I thought I was fucking tripping balls, dude. I didn't even know if it was real life or not. Because the comment ended up being like deleted and it was like cached, and I was like, did I imagine that or whatever? But it was real. That's just TLDR, to answer your question, basically the first time I had Keemstar interact on something I did, which was that, I was high out of my mind and tripping balls and was like, is this real life right now? So that
Seems
was
to be
like my first reaction.
That seems to be a pattern for you. You get really high and then something crazy happens.
Yeah.
So when did you first come across Shot from the Point?
When Keemstar shouted it out, when it had like under 1,000 subs. Immediately as soon as Keemstar said, I'm doing baited, put like the PNG on Twitter before the first episode was even announced, and added Tommy C, immediately followed him and subbed to him, and that's when I knew about Shot from the Point.
So like you followed him because you got shouted out, but did you like his content at the time?
Yeah, I did. I did for sure. At one point, he was my favorite YouTuber. Not like right when he
Really?
got shouted
Really?
out, but because I didn't really start paying attention to his streams until Beta just started going with the first few episodes. I really started to like his content a lot, like right near the end of Baited and after Baited. Like I was a huge fan of him in 2017
Okay.
and a bit of 2018.
What is your current what?
Oh no, I was just gonna say because the thing about Tommy was back then he was one of the only guys that you could get that that not personal interaction, but you felt like you were part of a community in his streams more so than with other people at the time.
Yeah.
I feel
He was like one of the only. He was pretty much the only commentary channel that, as a random viewer with no clout, you felt like you could get in contact with, right?
Yeah.
Due to like
Yeah, you could
how
just call into
small
the
he
show.
is and how he did his streams, but then he also had connections to bigger people, to Keemstar and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a really great aspect of his channel back then, and a lot of people since then have like copied that aspect, whether unintentionally or intentionally, with like live streams. So it's great.
Yeah. What do you think about Tommy today, like currently?
I'm pretty indifferent, honestly. Like I'm not
Oh,
a
really?
massive fan. Do see his qualities. I do see his downsides. Don't hate the guy. I don't think he's like amazing. He's definitely like a unique content creator. Pretty neutral and indifferent, I'd say.
Does that go back to when you guys had like pretty bad back and forth, like back in like 2019 during the open folders, stuff like that? Is that when you began to get indifferent?
Yeah,
of him?
so what was frustrating about that is that at the time I was like a huge Tommy C fan. I was he was my favorite YouTuber. I remember distinctly in 2018 like trying like days in my head to build up the confidence to even call into his show. So I was a big fan, and when he like had me on to talk about the Pokemon stuff, I was really happy about all that. And then, he went really hard on me with the Instagram Wake Up stuff, and I was trying to explain my perspective, with what I thought at the time, genuinely thought at the time, in DMs, but he was doing that thing kind of similar to what he did with Actman recently, where like Actman tries to, DM Tommy, and then Tommy's like, I'm not listening to anything you're gonna say. I've already made up my mind. Fuck you, and like tries to like troll in DMs, which really hit me hard at the time, and I was trying so hard to give Tommy the benefit of the doubt. That's why I went on those streams, like the infamous Instagram wake up call stream, because I wanted to convince him of what I was convinced of. But he was like very harsh about it and like thought like I guess the worst of me. And I held out for a really long time trying to like have benefit of the doubt for Tommy, but after like months of him shitting on you straight, you got to have some self-dignity and just be like, okay, fuck this guy,
Yeah. So like you guys have that brutal back and forth, and it turns into like a shitstorm. I think at one point he says something like you're going to backstab Augie or something, and when you get
Yeah.
your stuff like that. I think he's now final. I think he's recanted that. I think I think he said. I think his opinion of you now is like you're really funny, and he enjoys your tweets, and he enjoys when you come on and stuff. And we've always. Obviously, most of the time when you guys have back and forth, it's all just jokes, right? Like you're
Yes.
shitting on Tommy to be funny, and Tommy
Yeah.
shits on you to be funny. So at the end of the day, do you think like bygones be bygones, or are you still gonna hold that?
Yes, for sure. For sure, bygones be bygones. I've been feeling that for like the last year or so, or even
Yeah.
longer. I was gonna say something, but I forgot. You can continue.
Well, no, I was saying
I'll
because
think
I
of it
think
again.
at some point, you were vindicated, right? Like Nick brought up a point, like Tommy says he's right about a lot of things. One thing he wasn't right about is Bowblax never backstabbed Augie. So
Yeah.
I think you were right about that. Like
Mhm.
you weren't like as conniving as Tommy tried to make you out to be. I think with the Instagram wake up was just a really shitty situation that I don't think any of you guys should have been involved in. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that I think that was like
I
you guys
do.
are
I almost backed out of it before it got like too heated. When Scully like DM'd a bunch of YouTubers about it, but then last minute like Twoon pulled at my heartstrings, and I have younger sisters, so
I understand.
the
Yeah.
angle of like being preyed on online and all that, I just wanted to like help do something. I felt immoral for not helping. So it was like a morality thing. The criticism that this is what I forgot about, and I just remembered the criticism that Tommy had for me, that I was clout hungry based on Instagram Wake Up, never made sense to me, and still doesn't make sense to me to this day, because I never made a YouTube video about Instagram Wake Up. I just shouted out Andy Warski's stream
Yeah.
and about which I shouldn't have done, but like I don't know how he came to the conclusion that I'm doing all of this for clout and money and I don't care about the girls involved, when I literally did everything for no gain.
Right. Well, I think the worst part, I think what made you, it doesn't make you look bad, but the funniest part to me is like, did you guys go to the police? Yeah, we went to the internet police or whatever it was, that situation. Do you remember
I
that?
thought they went to the actual police, and because Twoon told me that, and then Twoon added the extra detail, and I already doubled down on it, so it's like,
Right. Yeah, that was
yeah.
just that was a rough
Yeah.
situation. I'm glad you guys
Yeah.
got out of it, and I'm glad you guys recovered
Yeah.
from that, because you
It-
ended up becoming that shit's probably destroyed a lot of small commentary channels. Like that stuff could really hurt like small commentary channels getting involved and stuff like that. So I'm glad you guys were able to recover and
Yeah, for
do
sure.
your thing.
I mean, even though I was new to the drama scene back then, I was still a YouTuber for like 8 years, so like to an extent I still knew about like optics and stuff like that. But something that never that still is like a little baffling to me to this day, and obviously it's been so long ago that I don't care, but
Yeah.
like Twoon and like a bunch of people, Twoon, Scully, BWC, Indigo White, and then Twoon's mods, all of those people were way, way, way more involved than me, and way, way, way more at fault than me. But I got the brunt of all of it, which
Okay.
doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Going back to your little feud with Tommy, when did you burn the shirt? Didn't you burn a shot from the point shirt on After Hours?
I did that before Instagram Wake Up. That was not on After Hours. This predates After Hours. It was my stream talking about BWC's video on Pokimane.
Right.
Where at the time I was still trying to defend her because I felt guilty for, inadvertently causing her a lot of stress and drama, even though she was the one who initiated it.
Yeah.
And she kind of took advantage of my, kindness in that regard. But regardless, I was basically like fighting against myself with Keemstar on stream. And, I had this blocked by Keemstar shirt from Tommy. And, I was blocked from Keemstar at the time. And the stream was going on for a while. So, like, all the points were already kind of made. And it was just like Keemstar trying to troll me and me kind of making comedy back. So I was like, Keemstar, if I burn the physical embodiment of you blocking me on Twitter, will you unblock me? And he's like, yes, you have to do it in like 10 minutes. You like played into the suggestion I did. So that's when I burned the shirt on stream. A lot of people seem to be under the impression that Keemstar pressured me into doing that because I really want to be unblocked by him. No, it was just a funny bit that I came up with and Keemstar played into.
You did it for the meme, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't. You didn't even have any issues with Tommy at that point. It was just like.
Nope.
Okay. Did Tommy ever?
Tommy might have had an issue with me doing it.
Oh, okay.
He saw it as disrespectful. I think I might be misremembering because it was a while ago, but
Okay.
it was never meant to be a diss on Tommy. It was just like, it's a shirt that says blocked by Keem, so it's like,
Well, I
that was
also
kind of
have
the joke.
I have the Blocked by Keem shirt. Do you think if I wore the shirt and refused to take it off, do you think Keemstar would block me? Yeah.
I
If
don't
just-
know. I don't think Keem's as block happy as he used to be.
Nah, man. He likes the community now. He likes all of us.
Still old man now.
So it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
I
think- I don't wanna be
think burning a shirt is like a satanic ritual.
Is it?
That's how you that's how you like channel. You know how you get famous? How you get internet famous? You just burn somebody else's merch and you channel their energy.
If it has any religious connotation, I didn't know about it, so that wasn't the intention.
No, I'm just messing with you.
The religion of Keemstar.
Before we like move on to like after hours and all that stuff, I just wanted to circle back because we found out how you got into what your favorite commentary people were and stuff like that. But how did you get into content creation? How did that happen? We
In
didn't really touch on that.
2011, there's a Let's Player who still makes Let's Plays to this day. His name's Chugga Conroy. He was doing a
know
Let's
him.
Play of Pikmin, and he was talking over the game and uploading it to YouTube. And I'm like, I like talking, I like playing Pikmin, and I didn't know that was a thing you could do. So I took out my webcam, my tripod, pointed it at the family TV, and started talking and playing and uploaded it.
Is that the
So you,
guy
like,
that you
really-
got your name from? Or was that a different guy?
No. So
Okay.
later on, during that same year, there was another guy called Dazza Clark who was gonna make a Let's Play channel, and he needed like name ideas, and he was doing like a little contest for it, and he was suggesting like putting two things together, like Blue and Luigi, to make Bluigi. So one of the suggestions I made was Bowser and Bowblax, which are the final boss of Mario and the final boss of Pikmin. Put them together, Bowblax. And then that ended up getting second place. He almost used it, but then he decided to go with the retro bound. But he pronounced it as Bowblax, which I like that pronunciation better. So I saved the username as my second channel. Then, because I made my first channel off a school email and I didn't go to that school anymore, I lost access to it. So I ended up switching to Bowblax, and I've had the username ever since.
Okay.
Was that content like? Did you enjoy making that? Or was
The
it
Let's
just like
Plays?
filling? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you
back
did,
in
right?
2011, making a career on YouTube and making money on YouTube wasn't an idea in anybody's heads, really. Unless you were like really, really, really big. Like only the top like 100 or like 1,000 YouTubers made money. So,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure back then wasn't. I'm pretty sure back then you also had to do MCNs and shit like that
yes, you did.
to get money.
I've
Yeah.
been in MCNs, yeah.
Oh, really? What's your experience with them?
Very bad.
Yeah?
With,
Oh, no.
with smaller, once they started opening up MCNs to smaller channels, they took ridiculous cuts. Sometimes they'd forget to pay you. A lot of them went under and didn't give out the final paychecks. One of them still owes me $200, which, I don't care now, but back then I did. I know I've bounced from a couple. The fact that you needed them was stupid, and I'm so glad that the YouTube partnership program exists now, because MCNs were just like a middleman that existed because to take advantage of a blossoming industry that didn't have the means to get money directly from YouTube at the time. So
And they must have made. I mean, they must have made serious money, because I know I've heard that back in the day, with the way that ads worked on YouTube, nobody really knew what the value of an advertisement was
yeah,
in the early days. So like, you could get like a ridiculously small amount for an advert, but on the flip side, companies that just had bags of money, the ad agencies that they were using, they just fucking throw money at it. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was only really something that worked for you if you were in the top like 1%, like you said.
Yeah, even then they were getting screwed. Like, how do you know the story with like Smosh and Defy Media?
No.
Where
remember.
Smosh ended up being an MCN with Defy Media, and their deal was that they would give them ownership of the channel so that they could give them like production stuff, like staff and a budget or whatever. And in return, Smosh gets stocks in the company that has yet to go public, and then they never went public, and then they went under, and they basically profited 100% off of the Smosh channel, with them getting almost nothing in return.
Is that like why they had their big downfall and Anthony left, or is that separate?
It's part of it, yeah,
Yeah.
but it is kind of separate, but it's also kind of part of it.
Yeah,
It
it's-
didn't
it,
happen
like,
at the
plays
same
into it.
time, but like the fact that they were creatively limited because they had a parent company, like kind of being like, you can't do this, you can't do that, or whatever, is why Anthony left. But Anthony left before Defy Media went down, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where they love what they do. They need to make money to keep doing it. They want to make careers out of it. So at the time, it probably seemed like a great idea. But then,
Yeah, they're just kids in
2020
their
vision.
bedroom. They don't know like business. Any
Yeah.
business person would have told them that was a bad idea, but
Well, I mean,
you know,
that's the thing. When you approach YouTube nowadays, I mean, you shouldn't approach it with business in mind, but there is that thought in the back of your head. Like back then, like you say, back then they didn't have those thoughts. They were just, when they started, they were just cringy kids in their bedroom doing what they
exactly.
liked.
Yeah. So they got taken advantage of, and that's pretty much what MCNs were. They were just businessmen taking advantage of, people who didn't know any better but were getting like a lot of views.
Speaking of cringy kids, the pounding Bowblax videos, I totally looked up one of them. When are you going to do an updated version of Data One's Super Mario Edition, Kirby Edition,
Fuck.
64?
How far deep did you dig, Core? Jeez.
No.
You mean the ROM hack of Mario 64 where you
Yeah.
play as Kirby and you do
Yeah.
a review, and then I did one video where I lied on how to turn into Kirby in Mario 64. It got a bunch of views and dislikes.
Yeah. When are you doing an updated version?
I don't know. Does that mod even still exist? Probably.
I don't know. You should do it on stream sometime.
Yeah, maybe. I play a lot of Mario 64 ROM hacks still on stream, so I guess. I don't
Great.
know.
No, I just remember him saying, "A pounding Bowblax here, and today I'm here to present you Datawa Kobe Mario Edition." And
Yeah, because the mod was made by Dadawa.
yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the juicy part of the episode. How did you meet Augie?
During the Pokemon drama, he made a video talking about it. He was the first person to ever make a commentary video about me. I reached out to him. We became friends. Then he started After Hours shortly after, and he did call-ins. I called into episode 3. Our dynamic worked really well, and he decided to want to have me on as co-host, and I wanted to do that too. So that's kind of how it started, and then it just naturally went on from there.
So did your dynamic was it like instant? Did you guys?
It was instant. Yeah,
Okay.
It was pretty much instant.
So when did you start talking to him when he made the video on you? Like, was it did you reach out to him when he made the video on you, or were you guys friends
I
before?
commented on his video.
Okay.
Actually, he tweeted his video at me, so that's how I found it.
Okay.
I commented on it, and then later I came into his Twitch stream he was doing with Ben that had 1 viewer, and that's when I first talked to him. And he was like really embarrassed because Ben was being like super cancer and AIDS, and he's like, "Dude, Bowblax is here. You gotta be normal." But I went in and I like played along with it. And he's like, "Damn, you're fucking dope." And then yeah, and then after hours happened, and I hopped in on a couple of the episodes, and you know, I became co-host.
When it comes to all of After Hours, do you have like maybe like a top 5 or like a favorite moment as a co-host of After Hours?
Oh my god, there's been so many episodes, it all blurs together. I have no idea off the top of my head, but I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot of good moments.
I remember, like, I
suppose.
think the one I remember fondly is like when Yo Mama came on, and I think
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
had a back and forth.
Oh, I
and,
remember that.
And his way to get back at you was to like promote memes on Twitter, like memes.
Oh
against you
yeah,
on
with
Twitter.
money. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that whole thing. Do you have like a moment on After Hours where it's like the worst moment, like a shitty moment? Or
Probably when we were doing the Instagram wake up stream, where
Yeah.
I found out that like everything was like fucked.
Yeah, that was
Definitely
a stressful
that.
stream. That was a stressful stream to watch because like it's like you guys just waiting for Toon to come on to
Yeah.
explain everything, and you're like you put all your chips on Toon, and then like he's just not really giving you guys what you thought he would give you.
What's
Yeah.
really funny about that is Tommy's like friendly with Toon now, like super friendly. I don't know.
Yeah, I found it odd that he was super willing to become friendly with Twoon shortly after Instagram wake up, but still hated my guts despite Twoon being infinitely more responsible for all of that. He was the head honcho. He's the one who did it all. So I just advocated for it.
Yeah, true.
But yeah.
When it comes to people in the commentary community, is there anyone that really makes your blood boil? Like really, like
not really.
not really. No, like okay. So like there, was there anyone you really had a lot of issues with in the commentary community that kind of died down, or like
Tommy C, Mr. Girl, and I think I've had an issue with Keemstar
I watched.
to the point where I was really mad at multiple points.
Oh my god! Speaking of Mr. Gal, I remember I was watching that. I can't remember whose stream it was, but you called in, and you were talking to Mr. Gal, and you were like, I just want to know what to call you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you remember? I just want to know. I just want to know what to call you. For God's sake, I just want to know, please. And that was the whole
pretty
point.
much. Yeah,
And it's just
it's like complete
more and more
denial.
frustrated.
Like say you attracted to minors and cuties, so you would be a minor attracted person, non-offending if we're being generous. No map, and then he's like, no, that's what pedos use, and I'm like, it was just so stupid, dude. It's like saying, I fix pipes for a living, but don't call me a plumber. Like what? I don't know. It's stupid.
I'm just attracted to pipes, okay? Like I don't fix them, all right? Calm down.
Because the pipes are so small.
Oh my god.
Really, really tight holes.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Right.
Maybe I should have picked a better example.
All right. What about is there any blood sports that you enjoyed? Favorite blood sport, debate, anything like that?
There's been so many. Okay, so when I think it was when Ethan Ralph was like first like having his falling out with Medicare, and then everyone went on the Boulder stream to like talk about him, and then like 2 people went in and just started yelling at each other and calling them each other pedophiles, N-words, F-slurs, just randomly, like 2 random guys. I don't know who they are, and I thought that was funny, so I like that.
Yeah. Was there any favorite ones that you were personally involved in?
Like
maybe like your debate with Destiny, or
that wasn't really blood sports.
Yeah. Well, debates in blood sports, like.
I thought the debate with Destiny, like, I mean, it went exactly as I pretty much wanted it to. Like me make my point and then dip.
Yeah.
I still think it holds up. I stand by everything I said in that. Uh, so I think like that was like good, but I wouldn't say it's like the most entertaining, debate I've been part of.
I think what happened afterwards was when everybody just started piling on Destiny.
Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing, bro. I was like, I was so glad that I had like a separate debate prior to that because like, no, I mean Nick agrees with me now, and he's critiqued it himself many times, but Nick and Tommy and yeah, basically Nick and Tommy looked like complete spur tards in that, and it was kind of embarrassing because they were advocating my points, right?
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
I'm not embarrassed now. I just meant in the moment in that call, I was embarrassed. Afterward, I didn't care.
Yeah, true. Fair enough. I did want to ask about the Ethan Klein stuff, right? You've had a lot of back and forth with this guy on Twitter. I think at some point he accused you of being a racist. Like, how do you feel about
Yes.
Ethan Klein now, given all that?
Rather indifferent. I'm pretty much indifferent to like a lot of people. I just like at the end of the day, like it's a lot of this was so long ago. It's the internet. Like I take it seriously in certain aspects, but like a lot of aspects, it's just like kind of a playground to like meme around and create like kind of this like lore and like environment of entertainment for everybody. So when I go back and forth with someone, I don't actually hate them. I just think it's like more content. Although I was really upset when he, was posting that to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because, it was like around 2020 and like, the BLM stuff was a lot more sensitive because of what happened that year. So,
Right.
and it wasn't just an optics thing. It was like an emotional thing too. Like someone died. Like that's like, it was fucked up. I know people meme it all the time, but like someone died. Like it's a tragic death. So, I was pretty upset at that. I was super reasonable with Ethan. I've been kinder to Ethan. Well, behind the scenes, publicly I shit on Ethan a lot, I guess. But like,
I think there are times where you give Ethan the benefit of the doubt when you shouldn't. In my opinion.
yeah. Oh, I don't think I've ever done it when I shouldn't. But
okay.
I have given him the benefit of the doubt. In places where I think he deserves it, because I don't want to just be like blindly hating everything Ethan's doing. I like to look at everything kind of individually.
Right.
Not that I'm ignoring like his past or anything like that, but with like behind the scenes relations, I've always been more cordial with Ethan than I have been with Keem.
Okay.
Funnily enough,
Really?
but Ethan is a lot more. Well, they're both irritable in different ways, but
Yeah.
Ethan's a lot more paranoid, so I think he like preemptively blocked me because he just didn't want to like deal with like if I'm on his good side or if I'm not. Like he just didn't want to deal with that. So I guess that's why he blocked me. I don't know. I'm still. If he wanted to talk with me, I wouldn't like scream at him or be mad at him.
Yeah, because you had open DMs with you had open DMs with him at some point. I think
yes.
When he started calling you a racist, didn't you still have open DMs with him?
Yes.
Or did you try to talk it out in DMs when that?
Yeah, he was really mad, and then he apologized the next day. He kind of seemed like he was drunk. I don't know.
Yeah,
or he was mentally ill that night.
Yeah. I remember that being so weird because it just came out of nowhere. Like someone tweeted that stuff, and he was like, "Oh, look at this, Bowblax."
And all of my BLM stuff predates all of Ethan's public usage of the N-word and stuff like that. So he literally like, obviously I didn't get like inspired off of him to do it because he wasn't like being that. Well, he wasn't like being that edgy in that specific way at the time, but definitely like. I didn't feel bad about the BLM song, even though it was still private at the time, when, like, Ethan Klein's coming out and being like, oh, N-word F slur, and iDubbbz is like, oh, yeah, the N-word's just a word, don't give it power, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So, it is kind of strange for him to, like, criticize something I did at 19 in private as a joke to, like, a handful of people versus him advocating the use of the N-word and F slur together in front of 7 million people. But
it's literally, I've said it before, I hate what they did. Like, they literally did that whole thing where they pull it's that ladder pull that they've done. They were like, okay, it was okay for us to do it. None of you can do it, though. None of you. You
Yo,
know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
just like, it's the worst thing you could say ever. And I completely, I can understand how your view on something can change, like as time goes by, but I don't think you are in a position where you can publicly shame people
Yeah.
for saying these things.
It was just malicious. He didn't care about the morality of it. He just cared about like getting a one up on me. He even said so in the he's like, you work with Keemstar and you're super pro Keemstar, and that's why I'm like going after you. That's basically what he
Yeah,
said.
there always should be like a benefit of the doubt situation where, especially when you're older, where you're like, okay, when I was younger, I was a lot more edgier than I am now. So if this young guy is being edgy, he's probably going to grow out of it, right? So
Yeah.
it's just unfair to like put a magnifying glass on you and be like, look what you said in 2016, Bowblax.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
the song never even had racist intent to like begin with. It was like a parody of like, what if a black person was so extreme with BLM that they said they wanted to kill white people, like a more
Yeah.
extreme version of Tariq Nasheed, which I didn't know about him at the time of making that, but it was
Right.
just like a little experiment, like what if, like that'd be so crazy, and then like, you know, I played the character of a black person singing that, so
It just sounded more like you were trying to make your friends laugh, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, I say they always get bullied. Like, it's,
Yeah.
bullied is a very like childish word.
Yeah.
So how did that end up leaking, by the way? I know you've told the story before.
It was unlisted. It was always unlisted, and someone had a website that could find all unlisted videos on a channel, and they used it and found it and re-uploaded it.
Oof. Damn.
Yeah.
I bet that guy was just like, uh-oh, gotcha. And
I think he was a fan,
got ya.
actually.
Yeah.
I think he was just like kind of ignorant to like how bad it looked.
oh, so he was like, oh, look, Bowblax based? And then like,
Yeah,
He
yeah.
probably,
that type of
he
thing.
probably watched it and it was like, oh, this is like really funny, or
It is.
you know what I mean? And yeah,
I
he
wonder
didn't
why
see
this
the
is in public.
optics.
Yeah,
I wonder why
you
he
know,
wouldn't want to share this with the world.
Yeah. Speaking about different words and slurs and stuff, what are your opinions on the word retard? Like, do you think anyone should be allowed to say it, or are there like specific groups or races that shouldn't be?
I think if someone is upset by the R
What?
slur, you shouldn't say it around them out of respect. For just saying the word, like I don't think. I guess it depends, like your past and the intention behind the word. Because like for me, it's always meant like an alternative to idiot or dumb, and I've never kind of
Yeah.
attached it to you know, mental disability. But a lot of other people, what I've learned over time is that a lot of other people do. So if you use that word in that way, I guess it can be disrespectful. But I don't know. I still don't think it's that big of a deal.
it's weird because I grew up in a time where retard was like a normal word. Like teachers
It's
said,
just
Yes.
a casual word. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
You just called
Same.
me a retard.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, it's just like idiot or dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just another word.
And I still see it that way, but I mean,
But I want to go back to what Toxic said. He mentioned groups and racial groups and stuff like that. Toxic, were you trying to indicate that perhaps black mongoloids are not allowed to use the word?
That's exactly what I was inferring, actually. I think we should take the word retard and we should put it on a pedestal. I don't know.
It's my word. My word.
I
This is
feel
only
like-
for
I
white
feel like-
retarded people.
I feel like the people should like pick another word that sounds way worse because I don't think retard even
Yeah, like
sounds bad. Yeah, they need like their N word to hit as hard as the N word. You know what I mean?
okay, Pat.
Like, I don't know.
Okay.
maybe we're retard one day will hit as hard as the N word.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I say it, I feel like there's more of a punch to it than me saying it 5 years ago. So, you know,
Yeah, true.
you know,
I
the
guess.
punch might keep increasing and then, you know, one day just drop the R bomb.
Well, there's always
It
there's
is,
always
no,
a
it is
difference.
really weird, right? Because
Yeah.
if you go, so I'm just going to take it to a weird place, right? But if you go to like anthropology classes and stuff like that, the non-woke ones, they still use the N-word and stuff like that. But it's not in the original. It's not the N-word. It's variations of it to mean certain things. Do you know what I mean? So like population groups, stuff like that. Right?
Or like the word black in Spanish or something like
Yeah, stuff like that. Or like, for example, I was going to say the word retard. I remember when I was taking my physiology classes and stuff like that, we openly used the word retard because it's a medical word, It means something.
Is it
Do you know what I mean?
is it still medical now?
Yeah.
Mentally
So
retarded.
so like yeah, but
I feel like
a
that's
normal
so much of an umbrella term. Like, wouldn't you like narrow it down? Like, I feel like that's like putting your hands up and being like, "Oh well, I don't know what they have." Retard. Lol.
No, but the way that you would use it is, let's say a kid comes in and he's not doing as good as he should be doing for his age group, right? You'll say he's mentally retarded. It doesn't mean that the kid is like eating paste. You know, it just means that he's slow. Or you
Yeah,
have like
like
retarded development of your muscles, retarded development of your brain. You know,
Yeah,
this
like
can be
slow.
retarded by this. It is used a lot in medical literature, but maybe they'll change that. I mean, they did do
they'll
it with the N-word.
probably they
I
will
mean,
probably change it.
I
That
remember
sounds
reading like,
harsh.
yeah, I remember reading like old like anthropology textbooks, anatomy textbooks, and stuff like that, where they openly use like Negro, Negroid, stuff like that. But it was just the time. But it's really hard to like completely wipe it out. Do you know what I mean? Because like I say, we wouldn't necessarily use those, but I was learning about those because they're in the textbooks. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
it'll always kind of be around. It's really weird.
I guess
Negroid.
education is just so outdated in general.
Yeah.
Like the school system's based on like 100-year-old curriculums, right? Like,
Right. One more question about the Black Lives Matter stuff. Did you what do you think of when you went on Shop at the Point to sing the song? How do you think that went?
I think it went well.
I did too. That was one of the
If
first.
besides the fact that I had a microphone that was like in a really weird position, so I had to hunch over whenever I recorded. I mean, that was a little weird, but besides that, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that was, I remember. I think that was one of the first Shop at the Points I watched like live, and I remember some black guy being in the chat being like, "No, he's got the pass. Say it," stuff like that. So it was
Yeah.
it was a fun show, man. That's one of the most fun moments of Shop at the Point, in my opinion.
Nice.
So, all right, let's talk about a couple of people recently. What's your opinion on flamenco now, Bowblax?
I don't hate him. I think the criticism against him is valid. Possibly, well, I don't know if Augie ever considered himself like friends with flamenco or whatever, but personally, like in comparison to how Augie and Nick treated the situation, I wouldn't have been as harsh. But that's like just a personality difference. I think that can apply to like pretty much every situation. Like Nick and Augie are more harsh than me on almost everything, right? So I don't think he's like a bad person, but I mean, all the criticism against him is pretty valid. Besides, like the false pedo stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so as well. It's most of the criticism is very valid. As someone who is autistic, Bowblax, do you think his autism kind of caused this? Like, do you think his ability not to miss the social cues that Salvo was trolling, stuff like that? Do you think this kind of like caused him to like get to spiral like
Possibly.
he did?
I think a big part of it is like wanting people to understand his point, but other people don't get it. So he just keeps trying over and over to explain it, and it causes him to spiral. It's the exact same thing that happened to me during Instagram Wake Up. I kept trying to explain it. Nobody understood. I kept trying over and over again. It made stuff worse.
Yeah.
So,
I think
it
just spirals, right?
But a lot of it is like him as his own person too. You can't attribute everything to autism, but I think the reason it went so far, that's definitely an aspect of it for sure.
Yeah. Do you think Augie was? Oh, go ahead, Beavers.
Oh, I just want to, just before we bolt off of that, I just wanted to ask you, yeah, so, you say you can't blame his autism, right? But, autism, people that are properly autistic, they do have problems with like social cues and interpreting jokes and stuff like that.
Yes.
How have you like dealt with that? Being autistic, you've been open that you are.
Yes, I've just learned. It's not a skill that I can't learn. It's not like I don't understand it forever and then it's done. It's just that I don't have the natural inclination to learn it. So I have to be like told or learn through like trial and error. But I've gotten very good at it, at least in my opinion. So
does it take effort, or has it like just become second nature?
It takes effort at first, but then eventually it becomes second nature, like any skill.
Yeah.
driving initially takes effort, but then it becomes second nature once you do it for a while, right?
Yeah.
It's like anything.
Because you saw Salvo as a troll from day one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I felt like Flamenco just couldn't pick up on that, or if he was,
Yeah.
he just didn't want to believe it. I think. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but the difference between me and I guess some other autistic people is that, like, you know how every autistic person has, like, not just one, but like a couple like obsessions or whatever that they like dig into and figure out every detail. For
Right.
me, that is learning social skills and learning how humans like interact and stuff like that. And psychology. So like that's why I think I seem like a lot less autistic than other autistic people my age potentially, because that is one of the things that I've actively always went out to improve, and I'm very ambitious as well. So, yeah, you know.
Do you
Yeah.
think
Go ahead, Toxic.
do you think you've had like friendships ruined or bridges burned because of your autism and like not being able to have social cues, I guess you could say, or something like that?
Not really. I feel like every falling out I've had is the fault of the other person. Honestly.
Is that the autism? Maybe.
That might be.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I've had some pretty shitty experiences like online. I mean, if I said the details, I think you would agree. And like a lot, I stay friendly with like a lot of people. It's very rare that like I have falling outs with people. I mean, I've definitely upset people and have like caused issues, possibly due to my autism. But if they're a good friend, that will like patch it up, and then I'll say sorry and stuff, and I'll learn genuinely from my mistake. I don't really think I make the same social mistake twice, typically.
Yeah, I think.
Since but hold on. Sorry, Matt. We keep interrupting you, but this is just juicy to me, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you this, okay? Have you ever seen the show Love on the Spectrum?
Yes.
Great question. What do you
Okay. What do you think about that show?
think?
The first season was very like, I mean, every autistic person's different, but I feel like, especially with the first season, it got better with the second season, but they represent a lot of like lower functioning autistic people, and I don't think it represents the vast majority of autistic people that show. Second season more so. There's a couple that were like, and people that were like, more typical of the average autistic person.
Mhm.
I think, especially in the first season and even the second season, like they do this thing where like they have the autistic people go on a date, but then they show like angles of other people around them going on the date, and they're like, look at all these normal people dating, and then look at these retards dating, and like they have like the most like unflattering photos of them as like the cover art on Netflix, and I'm just like, I know why they do it for clicks, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's sensationalized to an extent. Yeah.
Yeah, they really went
Overall,
like
I'm glad the
extreme.
show exists because it does like showcase like genuine things about autistic people, but a lot of it is overplayed, and I do kind of roll my eyes a bit when people are like, I learned so much about autism from Love on the Spectrum. I'm like, okay, like,
Sure.
I don't know. It's like you learned a lot about cooking from like How to Cook 101 on like WikiHow. Like that's like the equivalent. I don't know. Like it introduces people to like basic concepts, but I don't think.
Well, I wanted to ask you, do you like vibe with this in any way? So I remember there was this one guy and he was really into dinosaurs.
Yes.
Right? And they like ask him, if she didn't like dinosaurs, is that a deal breaker for you? And he's just like, yes, but he makes like this, like you can tell by his body language that he is just no. Like, no, if you don't like dinosaurs, get the fuck out, bitch. Right?
Yeah, he's thinking very binary, because when they asked that question, he probably interpreted it as in they hate dinosaurs, right? Not that they just are not interested or whatever.
Is that how someone with autism like interprets that? Is either they like it or they hate it?
Well, if his obsession is dinosaurs, right? He's like so into it that he can't like think outside. He can't put his mind in like someone else's shoes he doesn't know what it's like to not love dinosaurs.
Okay.
So any inclination that like they wouldn't love dinosaurs as much as him, he's like, whoa, like that, like that's kind of extreme,
So he just assumes, like, in a situation like that, you just someone with that kind of autism assumes that everybody just likes what he likes, and he can just walk up and talk to anyone.
No, he doesn't assume that everyone likes what he likes, but he doesn't think that he can get along with someone who doesn't like what he likes due to his limited knowledge of how people with different interests can get along. In the second season, I think he came back and said that he is okay with dating someone who isn't in love with dinosaurs. So he improved in that area. And by the way, you say his type of autism. He has the same type of autism as me. I've just been more proactive in, like, you know, improving socially. Whereas, he did it a little later in his life. He's not any different from me.
Yeah, I don't really understand.
I've also noticed with those people on the show, they tend to get. I don't think you've had this, right? Because you've been on the internet, exposed to a lot of like dissenting opinions, and people aren't always going to agree with you and stuff like that. So you were exposed to it, right?
Yeah.
But I find with a lot of the people that they have on that show, they are also very mummy coddled. They're very shut in kind of autistic people. Where, I mean, who's that one guy, that Australian dude? He's he kind of comes across as a serial killer.
He's fatter, like, the like slightly chubby.
The one that thinks he's a Chad.
Yeah, the one like at the very beginning who we went in with a suit, and then he got the girl like super anxious and she had to leave in the first day.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Like they get people like him that have been completely sheltered from the world. So
yeah, a huge factor for that is, I think that's mostly the parents' fault. Honestly, I think it's a mixture of both, because autistic people like the familiar, but in order to properly like raise an autistic person, in my opinion, you have to encourage, or for anybody actually, you have to encourage them to get out of their comfort zone, especially when getting out of that comfort zone is skills that you would need like in real life as an adult. I don't think they properly trained or raised that person to be independent. I think they kind of, and it's not like their fault. I think when they got the diagnosis of autism for them, I think they think that like it is something permanent, but I think they think it's something that can't really be improved. So they just try to make do with like the mental state they're at in that time, and they think they have very short-term solutions rather than long-term solutions. Like a long-term solution would be like teaching the child to be comfortable outside their comfort zone, even if they like scream or cry or whatever, in order for them to be prepared for an adult. But a short-term Band-Aid issue would be like, okay, let's just not have him socially interact because it stresses him out. It's too much work. All right. And it's why on the shows you see a lot of these parents who are like crying and saying like, I'm so happy with how far they've come. I had no idea they would get to be this like functional, because when they got the diagnosis, they thought the kid would act like that forever. They thought it was like there's no way of them learning social skills. It's impossible. So that's why they're like shocked by the improvement, right? And they're like emotional about it. So I don't think they're bad parents in the sense that they don't care about their child. I just think they don't know how to raise an autistic child, and I don't blame them at all, because the resources out there for autistic parenting, especially like back when these 20-year-olds were like kids, like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even today, it's not the most accurate thing ever, right? My mom also had similar issues with raising me. So, yeah.
Do you ever wake up and like, I mean, it's a morbid thought, right? But do you ever wake up and you're just like, thank goodness I landed on this side of the spectrum?
Oh my God.
No, because I'm on the same side of the spectrum as
but
all those people on Love on the Spectrum.
If you were low functioning autistic.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Do you wake up every day and say, "Thank God I'm not born blind"?
Oh.
Like, I mean, if I was low functioning autistic, I'd be like nonverbal or whatever. It'd be horrible, but like I don't think about that because I'm not that, right? Like you don't wake up every day thinking like, "Oh, thank God I'm not blind. Thank God I don't."
Did you just ask Bowblax, does he wish he was low functioning autistic?
Or like, I'm thankful that I'm not.
I was asking if he's thankful that he's not. Because it's like with Matt, right?
I'm also thankful I don't have an extra leg. I'm thankful I don't have a tumor. I'm thankful I'm not like allergic to fucking water. Like, I don't know. Like I'm thankful.
The way that I was coming at it was like, take Matt for example. Matt has lost his leg, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there are lots of times when Matt like does something and he thinks to himself, "Fuck, I'm below the knee." right? Because if he was
Sure.
above the knee, he would have a completely different life. He's lost the leg. He is afflicted by, this. I guess they are different, but that was my
Well,
thought pattern with that.
well,
But yeah, I get where you're coming from. You don't like wake up and
Yeah.
you're just like, thank God I'm not a potato.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
God.
Maybe the more accurate way to phrase that question is, do you ever wish you were not autistic? Is that what you're trying to ask?
Yeah.
Because like you're kind of comparing it like, does Matt
guess
ever
that's
wish
a-
he had a leg, right?
Bowblax, do you ever wish that
Yeah.
you were not autistic?
There you go.
I did when I was a teenager, not now.
Now you embrace
Are you
it.
one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you embrace it, or you want to? Like, I get embracing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is who I am, kind of thing. But I'm not gonna lie. Those people that say it's like a superpower, those people can fuck right off.
Are you telling
You
me
know
to
what I
fuck
mean?
off?
You think it's a
do you?
superpower?
Well, I mean, that's kind of an extreme. There's benefits and negatives to it. I think it's a difference rather than a disability. Obviously, there's like stuff that would come easier to me if I was neurotypical, but there's also stuff that comes easier to me because I'm autistic and wouldn't come as easily if I were neurotypical.
Dude, I would take being like an autistic dude who could draw really well. Like I'd do that. I'd be that autism. Like I would take that autistic trait easily. You know what I mean? So like being autistic can be cool, I guess. Just
I
sometimes
mean,
you
it's
just
not
don't get
that
jokes.
like
It's okay.
being autistic is you don't have the mental tools to naturally learn social skills, but you can manually, like any other trade or any other skill. So it's something I can remedy. But then I also have the benefits to it. So if I can, it's like a neurotypical is like a computer that comes out of the box and works really well, but they're a mid-range computer. An autistic person is a high-end computer that's optimized super poorly, put together super poorly, to the point where it runs worse than the mid-range computer, the neurotypical. But if you improve yourself, you have higher potential than the neurotypical computer because, you have more powerful parts. You're just not using them correctly. That's how I see it.
Well, I mean, I kind of get where you're coming from because I have ADHD, right?
Yes,
I
do as well.
I'm a pretty smart dude. So the way that I always have viewed it is, it was nature's way of putting me in check. It was like, you're gonna be smart,
Maybe.
but we're gonna fuck you over just a little bit, make it a little bit hard.
I kind of feel the same way. Sometimes I do think if I was neurotypical or whatever, how OP would I be? But the thing that really bothers me, or like I struggle with mentally way more than autism, is ADHD. And once I got on medication for that shit, I've become fucking so OP, dude.
Let me ask you this, Bowblax.
It's life changing.
Does the internet does the internet help or hinder people with autism? Because I've seen people like you who are kind of in the spotlight. I can see that you have definitely like it's helped. Like the internet has helped you like with social cues and stuff. But I also see people with like autism who are in discords and stuff that just completely spiral. You know what I mean?
Chris Chan.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I mean, obviously the answer, if you compare me to Chris Chan, is that the answer is both. It just depends how you approach it and what you do and the circumstances surrounding it. For Chris Chan, it's definitely 100% a negative in almost every conceivable way. For me, it's almost a positive in most conceivable ways.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly. I think even like to a lesser extent, like maybe not even Chris Chan, but like I notice I see a lot of autistic people who will go in discords and they get baited into like these like loud arguments and stuff like that, and it just seems to hinder them a bit, and it feels like it makes them worse, But then I see guys like you who have understood social cues, at least understood the fact that like this guy could be joking with me, so I'm not going to
of course,
take him that seriously. So I've always thought that was interesting how the internet can help you guys and also hinder you at the same time.
I think overall it's probably more helpful because even if you get in those situations where you get baited, if you have the ambition and the knowledge, you can use that as a learning experience. I've definitely been baited and had my autism taken advantage of online a lot. I'm talking more like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm not talking about today or whenever I started doing drama. But I think it's, if you have the ambition to like improve, it can definitely be a net positive for sure. But obviously it can go wrong as well.
Here's
so
a
many
question.
examples of that.
Do you think Chris Chan was baited into saying what he did and all that stuff with his mom never happened, or do you think he actually did?
I think he actually did it. or she actually did it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Whoops.
No, I made the mistake as well. Yeah, I think they actually did it. But I think if she wasn't on the internet over the last like 20 years to the extent she was, that would have never happened.
Do you notice a pattern with like the lolcows? Most of them are autistic, and then you have autistic people that have like an autistic obsession with them. Do you like?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of like? I've noticed like there's a lot of autistic people who like to make fun of like lower autistic people, and it maybe makes them feel better about themselves. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever noticed that or experienced that, but I've just seen that a lot
Sure.
in the community.
So, obviously a lot of lolcows and a lot of people who follow lolcows are mentally ill, but I wouldn't say all of it's autism. There's like so many different mental illnesses. There's bipolar, BPD, brain disparity. It could be like anything. And a lot of these mental conditions have similar traits to autism.
Yeah.
So they could have autistic traits but not be autistic. I wouldn't attribute it all to autism.
Okay.
So when I think about these lolcows and stuff, I do think they're mentally ill, but I've never specifically been like they're all autistic,
Yeah.
Does autism and Sonic actually have a connection, or is that just like a big coincidence?
I think certain franchises, due to like their design, have a lot of appeal to autistic people. Like autistic people get into, trains, cars, Pokemon, Sonic, Mario. I think it could happen with any like franchise or series of things that you can get into. Even like, you could just get into art or cooking or whatever. So yeah, gaming franchises and movie franchises and all that are just more possible things for autistic people to get attached to. So yeah, I do think there's a connection in that way.
Okay. What about anime?
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing.
I'm not personally into anime, but it's like I wouldn't say that these things are like every autistic person is universally gonna like Sonic or universally gonna like anime. But a lot of these different things attract autistic people because they're like just good products and good franchises and stuff that get people interested in it, neurotypical and neurodivergent. But neurodivergent people just tend to be more extreme with it due to the condition.
Okay. Just
What
moving
else?
on.
But quick,
Oh,
just
Beaver,
want to tell you what else.
What have you done?
Your mic changed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bad?
That's so bad.
Yeah, really bad.
Give me a sec.
Okay. Good one.
All right. Well, while we wait, Bowblax, Pikmin 4 or Sonic Adventure 3?
Pikmin 4.
Okay.
We have Sonic games still coming out. Pikmin, there's no other experience to replace it, really.
That's fair.
Who's someone in the community that you think is probably autistic that hasn't revealed themselves yet?
Nerd City.
Nerd City? What about... I remember you saying that Deaf Noodles might be autistic at one point.
Possibly, yeah. I think he might
see
be,
that.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I'm saying it to like people I dislike or I've fucked up, like, oh, they're autistic. And I don't mean to say like autistic. It just like when you do certain things online that are like mistakes that an autistic person would make, it's a lot easier to see that they are autistic. There's probably a lot of creators that I don't even know are autistic who are like, for example, and he's already public about this, I'm not outing it, like Slacker TV. I didn't know he was autistic, but he is. So there's nothing to indicate that he was or wasn't autistic. But usually like stuff, when you make mistakes as an autistic person, it's easier to identify them as autistic because that mistake was very like social based or very like something an autistic person would do. So that's why, from the mistakes they've made, I think Nerd City and Deaf Noodles are autistic. But that's not me saying that like everybody who does a bad thing is autistic, There's probably a lot of good people who are autistic, but I just can't tell as much because they don't make as blatant of like mistakes or whatever.
Yeah. Are you still doing your is it Truly Autistic channel? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I just have not been in the mood or have had the passion to talk more about it. And with talking about autism, I'm much better at talking about it when people ask questions like in the vein we're doing now, rather than me just trying to like say it out of the blue because I've lived my entire life autistic. A lot of this is second nature. And I just say this like it's common sense in my mind. And a lot of people like you and other people are like, oh my God, this is juicy. This is like cool and interesting. But to me, it's like so common sense that like I don't really know how or what to talk about on that channel. I do want to continue it, but without being like interviewed in this way, it's really hard for me to make talk about it, if that makes sense.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on subjects. The whole AP over 9K thing. We've covered that on Now Recording a lot. We had AP over 9K on twice. We've had Tipster on. What's your opinion on her now that all that stuff has been kind of squashed?
I think she's crazy.
Okay. You still do you think Tipster's in trouble? Like still hanging around with her, or you think
in trouble? In like what way? Like in trouble?
Well, do you think like she'll do what she did before when she dropped the DMs?
She could.
Yeah.
She could. But
Okay.
I mean, if that does happen, Tipster probably knows the possibility of that happening, and it was his decision to forgive her. So if she does it again, it's like I guess I can feel bad for him, but at the same time, as an adult, he made the decision to put himself in that risky position of it possibly happening
I
again.
tried telling Tippy, right? I told him, bitches be crazy. I tried to get it across to him.
I told him that too.
He just doesn't want to listen. So
Like,
you
I
make
I
your bed.
respect the decision he makes as an adult. He can be friends with whoever. Obviously, he knows the girl better than me, so he can make his own judgment. But my personal opinion, based on the little experience I've had with this person, I think she's crazy nutso, and I think people should stay away from her. But
yeah,
that's just my
like
opinion.
obviously, what you're basically, if you were in Tipster's shoes, you would be staying away, very far away. From
Yeah,
her,
you wouldn't have forgave her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't be mad at her, but I'd just be like, you are who you are, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have become friends with her in the first place, if I'm gonna be honest. But
I mean, fair enough. Another woman in the community that you had a back and forth with recently is Diva. What's your opinion on her now?
I think she's stupid.
All?
Do you think she should have like faced you, like
Yeah.
one-on-one?
I wish she did, but I mean, obviously she's all bark, no bite. Like all her aggression is just a facade, and she's really just scared. So,
Very loud.
I don't hate her. I just think she's like stupid and doesn't know what she's talking about. And I think it's funny. And I wish she went back at me so I could milk it more. I think she's a lol cow to milk. That's what I think. And I wish I could milk her more, but she's not. She's not giving us the opportunity, or I just don't care to like. Look for
I've
the
had
opportunity.
conversations with her like outside of like the commentary or whatever. She seems like a pretty chill person. I think she just gets wrapped up in stuff, and I think she just really wanted to defend flamenco.
I don't think she's a bad person, and I don't think she's crazy in the same way that AP over K is. I don't think she's crazy at all. I just think she's dumb. I just think she has low IQ. I just think she's dumb. I think she's not smart. That's it.
I can see that.
So nothing. I mean,
I want her to be a lol cow because the lol cow community needs some diversity.
True.
Too many white people.
A loud black woman.
Way too many white people. We need some black people in there.
Oh my
Making
God.
us look bad, lol cows.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, it's just like I don't know. I think your criticisms of her and Augie's criticisms of her were justified because what she was saying just did not make sense to me at all.
It was just so dumb. It was so funny. It was so funny to see something like so delusional come out of her mouth. I wasn't like offended. I was having fun with it. Also, like, is this public? Like, why, Tipster's podcast with her and Biscuit Basher fell apart or no?
I don't remember if it is or not.
We'll find out, and if it's not,
but I mean, I haven't been fond of her since that situation.
Okay.
Tipster forgives her, but I don't think she was a bad person in that. But what happened between that, she's just stupid as hell. She's literally just so low IQ. It's funny.
Fair enough. Another girl that this goes back into like after hours lore. I think you were dating this girl. I think her name's Bunny, right? Was her name Bunny?
Yeah, dating, quote unquote. She called it that. I didn't really consider it that.
Has she ever tried to get in touch with you since all that shit went down? Have you ever heard from her after this? After hours? She left.
After like I ditched her, no, because I blocked her on everything. She tried to keep making more accounts to talk to me, but like eventually, obviously, she stopped.
Yeah.
So she hasn't reached out to me since, but that's on me because I blocked her on everything. She can't reach out to me. So
Okay. How long did y'all end up dating for? Quote unquote dating?
quote unquote dating 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Oh wow.
Jesus Christ.
That's pretty long for an relationship, Bowblax.
Congratulations, I guess.
It's not. I think that's. I mean, I guess for an relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's short for a relationship. Very short.
Have
Yeah.
you seen her nudes?
Yeah.
Thanks, Core. Thanks for
Okay.
your... Oh, okay. Never mind.
Well, no.
She's also seen mine though. So
Oh yeah.
Really?
So, okay. So what Nick says is true.
Ah.
There's a pic out there, right? That's what that Nick's always talking about.
sure, yeah, but I don't think it'll ever get out. And also,
Okay.
my face isn't in it, so it's like
So there you go. All right.
You
I
would never
could-
know.
deny. Even if it went out, like I guess I would care because it's like inaccurate because like it's been like 3 years and obviously I look different naked, but
Yeah.
I don't think I would care that much, honestly.
So you're a grower of age, right?
Okay.
A
Thanks,
gr-
Core.
There's a term called a grower, not a shower.
Are you gonna like ask me my dick size or something?
I think
now?
that's where it's
I
going.
mean,
Yeah.
I
Do
didn't.
you want to say it? Ghosty says it all the time, so why don't you?
I think it's about 7 inches.
There we go, ladies. He's a
Brothers.
7-incher.
Me and
Okay,
you are
well,
like
yeah.
brothers.
Let's get off of the. Has there been any? Like,
I don't care. I literally don't
And
care.
by the
so-
way,
the
by the
only
way,
people
I
uncomfortable
am-
are you guys. So
yeah.
I am a grower, not a shower.
it's one of the perks of autism. I don't get embarrassed or cringed out as easily.
That is actually a superpower.
Yep.
What has there been any other like weird situation with girls trying to hit you up, ask you out, stuff like that? Was there any weird stuff like that?
Sure, but not to like the as much of an extent as other YouTubers.
Okay.
Like I think I'm like in the grand scheme of like girls reaching out to YouTubers to like get in their DMs, I'm definitely like I have probably like not as much in comparison, but it does happen occasionally.
What's your opinion on Polus?
Polis, he's cool.
There you go.
To be fair, I don't really know much about their drama. I know that they were like attracted to Augie. And that's pretty much the extent of it that I know.
Yeah. Now they're like kind of on Salvo's side. So it's like he had a very parasocial.
Yeah.
Like,
He got a crush on a YouTuber. I
Yeah.
mean,
What's the issue?
I understand obviously why like Augie would want to stay away from that, and I would too. There's been people who've had crushes on me, and if I'm not interested, I stay away from them too. But it's just something that happens. I mean, parasocial stuff happens when you're a streamer and a YouTuber. So, I don't know. But also, I haven't like watched any of the like coverage of the drama. So maybe he did something that's like really bad that I don't know about. Actually, probably, but I just don't know. So
Okay.
but yeah, I definitely don't avow like the parasocial stuff. But I don't think like they just fell for a YouTuber. Like
Yeah.
it happens.
Well, I want our audience to form a parasocial relationship with us.
Everyone has a crush on Beavers and Mike the Bike and Toxic Pig Blob
Mike he did it again.
or
Cool.
Matt Pitt, whatever. You're both like M's. I don't know.
Yeah.
Same dude,
bad.
really.
Yeah.
I think of you in my head, but I said the wrong name. So I am thinking Matt Pitt, but I just said Mike the Bike.
Wait. So when you introed us, did you mean to say Mike the Bike? I thought
No.
you did that.
Oh, I thought it was
Awesome. I know.
You should have kept it going.
Who's
sorry.
irrelevant now, Matt? Who's
who's
irrelevant
wrong?
now?
I know the difference between you guys, obviously, but and in just like vocally, it comes out the wrong
Fair
way.
enough.
I guess.
Fair enough. My leg is irrelevant. So,
Generic white guy.
yes. Core, do you have any questions? Core,
What?
do you have any
You're
questions?
asking me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because okay, so basically, Bowblax, we have like just a rough listing of what we want to ask you, right?
Yeah.
Prior to coming into this, and Core has posted. I mean, I don't want to be insensitive, but a very autistic wall of text that
That's
makes
fine.
no sense.
Ask
Right?
away. I'll see if
So
I can
please
interpret it.
ask away, Cole.
How does that not make? When you first met Pokimane, what was she like, and do you feel like she was genuinely sorry for striking down your videos?
Oh, that is such a complicated question. Wait, so there's two parts of it. So
Yeah.
you're asking, do you think she was genuine with the strike? What was the other one prior?
Genuinely sorry for striking down your videos, and what was she like when you first met her?
I think she's genuinely sorry that she got caught. What was she like? She definitely initially she was acting like she does on stream, very like you know, overly kind and like a bunch of like ooh-woos and lols or whatever in like the DMs,
Not
emojis
surprised.
and stuff like that. But eventually she became like kind of more normal. We actually started building like somewhat of a rapport, platonically, of course. But then I stopped doing things to help her brand because it was damaging me. Obviously, I've talked about this. And then she just started getting mad that I wasn't like, doing everything she exactly said. So she started hating me, I guess.
Typical woman.
I
Psycho
definitely
bitch.
I think she's probably like a great friend if you don't do anything to threaten her brand. I think she's probably a great person to hang out with.
Have you talked to her since?
Since what time frame?
Since the incident?
The copyright thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But my last like major contact with her was like April 2020. After the It's a Gundam stuff, it's been nothing, pretty much.
Okay. Let's see.
Actually, I think I sent like one message where I'm like,
Hi.
I think she like posted something where she was like showing her natural hair or whatever, and she was like, I was nervous about it or whatever, and then I was like, oh, good for you, and she's like, thanks.
Lol.
I think that was like the last thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really hate her.
Yeah, there was a clip out there of you yelling "Sonic, Sonic, ah!" during a Nintendo Direct stream. Do you feel like were you like genuinely like fucking screaming at the top of your lungs, like to be ironic, or were you just genuinely excited to hear that Sonic was
Ironic. I
coming?
don't give a fuck if Sonic 2 is on the Switch. I can play Sonic 2 anywhere. It was purely ironic. A lot
Okay.
of my freakouts are like pretty much all of them are like played up. Even the Among Us Let Me Speak. It was like half genuine, half played up.
Right.
If it was genuine, I would have freaked out, but just not to that extent.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you feel like the content you make, specifically Twitter versus, could easily be duplicated by someone else, like Corpse Husband or other Storytime YouTubers, if they decide to jump onto the YouTube drama
Yes.
genre?
Yes.
Do you think that they would be more popular than you?
Yeah.
Totally. Okay.
But no one has done it, so.
You know what? I've thought about it.
Oh my
Yeah, you
god.
can. I don't have anything against anyone doing it. I've said this multiple times. Like if there's competition, I welcome it,
So, another question I have is: you have two other friends. I can't say their names, but the ones that play on the Trashy Trio channel.
Yes, Sam and Max, Chaos Spender and Bobber18.
Do you still hang out with them, and are they ever
Yes.
jealous or envious of your success on YouTube?
Sam in particular is somewhat bummed out that I don't like talk with them as frequently, but I mean he's busy with his own life. He's just got married like last year and stuff like that. They joke about it, but no, I don't think they're jealous.
Okay. And what was the whole thing? There was an episode, and I messaged you about it because I remember doing this. But why did you upload a thumbnail with Hitler in it, And then in there also you said something about, I think 9/11. 9/11 was a cool thing, right? Was that just to be edgy and funny, or was that like you just to be just like, you know what, I'm a teenage kid and I don't give a fuck?
I mean, that's kind of both, being edgy and funny, being a teenage kid and not giving a fuck. Genuinely, my mentality, when was this uploaded? 2017. I
Yeah.
was doing YouTube for what, 6 years at that point. And my channel had not surpassed, I think at the time it was like at 2K subs. I didn't think I would ever get popular on YouTube. So I was just like having fun, going balls to the wall. Kind of like how I have been like going balls to the wall recently, right? Obviously, I don't say everything, but just it's like the same thing as like the Black Lives Matter song in that sense. It's just like I'm just being goofy because and not worrying about optics because I know no one's gonna watch.
Okay.
And then my last question is something I've noticed like recently, that you've been taking jabs at all creators, not a small, big, under 1K, over 100K, and feeling like you're like very confident and full, like for lack of better terms, like full of yourself. Like I feel like that's been happening. Has that affected you in any way? Do you feel like you're very confident right now? Is there any particular reason behind that?
When I do have an answer for this, but like when do you think, or from your
Like
perspective, when did this start? Like what's the time frame?
I would
Did it
say
last
like
like couple months or last year or like
I would say a couple of months, the last few months especially. Like I noticed like taking little jab. Obviously, like there was the Diva situation. We talked about that a little bit earlier, and then Tipster is getting upset. Obviously, getting upset with some of the things that you were saying, and some other folks on Twitter as well. So I just want to know if like if there's like any particular reason behind it, and has your relationship ships changed with certain creators, I guess.
my relationships with creators have not changed at all because of it. It wasn't really even a conscious decision. I just think I subconsciously just became more comfortable in the space, and I become more open because of that. And I think that's going to only increase over time and just my like comfortability. Like I'm not worried about being canceled. I'm not worried like what Keemstar thinks about me, for example, which is something I did used to care about. Stuff like that.
Okay.
And I'm just having fun because like I've always kind of been like crazy and goofy. I mean, obviously, like you could see in the Trashy Trio, like obviously that's the case. I have like the same confidence I kind of do now, and then it kind of like dipped, and now it's back up. Uh, I just didn't think that people thought me screaming and being like a lunatic would be entertaining. I thought it'd be cringe, so I just didn't do it as much. But then people like it, so I'll just do it more.
Yeah.
It's what I've always wanted to do. Like, I guess.
All right, and then we ask some of our guests sometimes these kinds of questions, but my question, my final question for you is: Pokimane, Amaranth, or Zoe Burger? Kill, fuck, marry. Pick.
Amaranth, Pokimane,
Zoe
Zoe
Burger.
Burger.
Zoe Burger. Kill Zoe Burger. Fuck Amaranth. Marry Pokemon.
Correct answer.
Hey, good answer.
All right, I'm good.
All right, so we're
Amaranth
probably
and Pokemon are pretty interchangeable, though. I could like
true. They're
swap
both
them.
rich. So
Yeah,
I mean,
but
Yeah.
Amaranth's way more rich right now. I mean, look at all the stuff that she's buying, left and right.
Yeah, she's putting
Pokemon. I
Indians
mean,
out of business.
Pokemon and Amaranth are both rich to the point where like it
I
doesn't
think
matter. Like
Pokemon
if Pokemon makes 1 million more than Amaranth or vice versa, I don't really think like they're both millionaires. Like
okay. So we're probably winding down a bit, but I did want to so this is going to be uploaded probably after your show on Saturday.
yeah.
So let's just go back. All right. So you came on Xylie's stream. You kind of explained the situation with you and Augie. It was it was definitely nothing crazy. There was no firing. You just he asked to not want to do co-host anymore, and you'd be more like Nicholas Diorio and call in. And when we talked on Xylie's stream, you were not sure what you wanted to do for your stream. You didn't want to like go after Augie, and so you went on a trip or something. You come back from the trip and you're like ready to go with this. Is it twat? Is that what you're calling it?
Love
Who?
it.
Wait,
Okay.
Oh, it's not twat.
Yeah, initially it was going to be twat, but then I noticed it was like too close to twat, which is pussy. So and then tweet. It was meant to be like a dumb way of saying tweet, like tweet, twat. Like I'm gonna twat you, I'm gonna tweet you, I'm gonna tweet you. But I
Okay.
felt like tweet just sounded better. And then also like I came up with the name This Week on Twitter, like before I even came up with the acronym tweet, and then I realized it fit perfectly. So it's like
What is it's an acronym, so what does it stand for?
This Week on Twitter.
Ah, got you. Actually, that's a great idea. So you're going to be doing these streams where people will send you tweets by using the hashtag tweet,
Yes.
TWOT, and then you will be reading them on stream. So explain to me what it's going to be like. Are you going to have co-hosts, stuff like that?
The plan is to have one YouTuber guest starring every stream. There won't be call-ins, but there'll be like one predetermined guest. So like if Keemstar starts saying ad in chat, I won't do that. It's meant to be kind of a stream that can like stay up as a video.
Okay.
Right? Like similar to After Hours. So I'll probably end up doing some solo shows. I actually came up with the idea for the stream before Augie let me go.
Okay.
But me adding co-host was like kind of a decision that I made because of I wanted to replicate some of the After Hours stuff that I would be missing by not being on the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, so the first episode is going to have Augie. I don't know about the other episodes, but yeah, it's just going to be like one person. So it's going to be like This Week on Twitter featuring this YouTuber. And I think with the way the show is formatted, I can have like a lot of different types of people on. Like, Gamer from Mars wouldn't be like a very. I don't think he'd fit well for an After Hours stream, but for Twoot, I think I could have him on.
Okay.
I think, it gives you like a very broad range of people you can have on just to react to things. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Awesome idea.
Yeah, it's literally like the older brother of Twitterverses. It's like it kind of coincides with, and it's really. Is it going to be on the main channel?
Yes.
It's got to be on the main channel. Like
that's like really good.
That's a given.
Yeah, it's kind of like an expansion of Twitter versus Live, right?
Yeah.
And the reason when I first what kind of inspired the show was I was gonna make while I was banned on YouTube for a week. Prior to that, one of the videos that was planned to come out that week, because I said I'd upload a video every day for the rest of that week until I got banned, and then I couldn't do it. One of those videos, which I just uploaded today, actually, was Twitter versus Mom Life Comics. And while I was banned on YouTube, I was on my other channel, Bowblax 3, and I was like looking through the tweets and was like laughing at them with people. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this for too long because I'm gonna make a video about it. And I had a lot of fun, like just looking at memes that people were making about like kind of a general topic that wasn't drama based. So I was like, that was part of the inspiration for making it. There's like a lot of different inspirations. If I honestly could talk like about like my mindset behind Twoot for like an hour plus, but
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you? It sounds like when I was reading like how you're going to do this, so many people are going to be tweeting at you with that hashtag.
Yes.
Have you thought about maybe getting someone to help you like produce it so they got like?
Yes.
Okay.
If it gets too big, I'm gonna hire someone to help.
Fucking
But
Matt
right
Pitt throwing
now,
his hat into
Yeah,
the
he's
ring.
right there.
yeah.
You little
begging
fucking
for it.
clout suck.
Yeah.
No, I already
knew-
thought
You
of.
need a producer.
already-
I have experience.
He didn't give me the idea just now. I already had this idea.
I knew when I
before I
asked that
announced it.
question, y'all were gonna fucking say that. No, I don't want it. I just wanted to know if there was some like I'd like to see.
I don't
someone
know
that-
who I would get to do it. Honestly, I have no
Well,
idea.
Matt Pitt does
Yeah, he's
producing.
right.
No, no,
He's-
get fucking Polis. Get Polis.
Matt
or
Pitt is a
fucking-
good option, but if he doesn't want to do it, whatever.
get Polis or someone. I don't know.
But right now obviously, number one, I'm really into the idea, and it's the first episode, so obviously I'm paying way more attention to Twoot than I probably will like a year from now, assuming it lasts that long. And right now, like it just started, so there's not as many tweets coming in, so I don't need to do that yet. I don't think I'll
Okay.
need to do that for at least a couple months.
Okay, fair enough.
Right now, I think I have about like 200 to 300 tweets gathered up, and that's over the course of like the last couple days. So, There's a lot of people doing it, but it's not like an unbearable amount yet. So.
Are you worried that people? Well, I think Nick brought this up. Are you worried that people are going to start sending you dicks and shit?
They've already done that, but
okay.
the way I'm doing it is I'm screenshotting the tweets, and then for the video versions, because I don't want to download every Twitter video, I have like a notepad with like the link. So every tweet is like screened before I do it. So I did say I would read every tweet I get, but there's some that I can't.
Yeah.
Like
So
someone sent me lolly, and I'm like, fuck no. Like, I blocked them. So
you won't be checking the hashtag live, is what you mean? You won't.
No, I'm not checking it live. I'm checking it over the week, and then once the show starts, it's cut off, and any tweets made after that is for the next week.
Okay. Guys, anything else you guys want to ask? Any other questions? Beavers, Core?
I just think that's a really good idea. That's all I got.
Thank you. Yeah, Keemstar
I do think
called me, and like he was like, "What is Tweet?" And I explained it to him, and he's like, "That's a good idea as well." So a lot of people think it's a good idea, and I'm glad because when you come up with a fresh concept and try to launch it, like obviously there's like a lot of nerves and like, will it work or not or whatever. But I've like kept thinking about the idea, and an idea is good when you can't think of like any flaws in it.
Yeah.
Or any like obviously there's like a little bit of flaws in it, like so many people doing Tweet, what are you gonna do? But it's all stuff like I can remedy, right? So
yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
Beavers, you got anything?
No, I was just gonna say I think it's a really good idea. You should definitely keep like a dick pic tally. And
oh my god, I don't know if I can do that.
And like at some point, like a couple of months in, you don't like show the dick pics, but if any of them sent caption in with the dick pics, you just like have all the dick pics, just not the actual pictures, they all blurred out, but you just like have the tweets for like a 2-minute segment just randomly pop up.
I think the count right now for like porn is like 3 right now or something like that.
Okay. Toxic, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, Bowblax, I just want to say thanks for coming on, man. This has been
it was
fun.
Great.
Really insightful.
Really good questions.
I appreciate that. I'm just gonna do the outro. Thanks for joining us. That's Bowblax. Thank you for joining us. Beavers, thanks for coming on. Joining us. Core, thank you. Toxic, thank you. And I'm Mike the Bike, and I hope you will see you next week on Now Recording. Take it easy, guys.
See ya. Matt Pitt, let me just slander you, you stupid cunt. Let me just fucking slander you. Let me just say whatever the fuck I want about you, huh? I have more subs than you. I have more clout than you. Let me just say fucking lies about you. I don't give a fuck, dude. You're sucking on Tommy C's tit, dude. I don't give a fuck, dude. You're fucking sucking off Tommy C's cock and tit, and fucking his wife's gonna be mad, dude. Just fly to Germany and let him fucking suck you off, you fucking stupid ass bitch.